Deadpool 2 is, of course, the sequel to Deadpool, and this has been one of my most anticipated movies of the year. And this time, Deadpool 2 is basically about Deadpool, and he meets this guy Cable, who's trying to kill this one kid who has fire powers. And so Deadpool tries to assemble this team of mutants that he dubs the X-Force. Now, Deadpool 2 has had a lot going for it, because people loved the first Deadpool. It was even in the conversation to be nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay at the Oscars. Now, that didn't happen, but luckily Logan did. But, whatever the case, people really loved that first Deadpool movie. And as did I. Deadpool was such a really, really funny movie. I honestly think it is one of the best comic book movies of all time. And Deadpool 2 may or may not be better than the original. I don't know what is it with a lot of these comic book superhero movies being, like, so fantastic nowadays. I mean, it's really bizarre. I mean, in a good way, of course. But Deadpool 2 does a lot of what the first Deadpool did, but at times even better. A lot more of the jokes land than the first one. Even the action is better in this one than the second one. The effects are better in this one than the second one. At times, even the music can be even better than the second one. Now let's talk about Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson / Deadpool. Again, he is so perfect in this role. Again, sort of like Hugh Jackman, sort of like Robert Downey Jr. When he plays Tony Stark. It's going to be really hard to try to recast Ryan Reynolds when he doesn't do this anymore. Because he so owns this character. He makes the character his own. And it's even really funny to see how he sort of makes fun of his own career in the movie. And in some ways, that really shocked me. But yeah, Ryan Reynolds is just so good as this character. And again, at times, he is better than he was in the first movie, and he was already amazing in the first Deadpool. And his interactions with all the other characters is also really funny. Like his interactions with Colossus, which actually was even more prevalent here than it was in the first Deadpool. I mean, I'd probably say maybe you get more screen time of Colossus in the first Deadpool, I think. But the connection he has with Deadpool in this movie is very, very good, and like I said, probably even better than the first one. His interactions with what's her name, Blind Al, are also extremely funny in this movie. And remember when in Deadpool, the first one, where he had that little baby hand? They take that power to an extreme new level in this movie, and oh god. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into it any more than that, but holy shit, the stuff they do in this movie. Even his interactions with the X-Force is also really, really funny. His interactions with Peter, his interactions with Bedlam, his interactions with, what's her name? Domino. Domino is actually a really cool character in this movie, seeing as how her power is luck. And it's kind of a weird concept, but when you see her power in this movie, you're just baffled and just completely in awe at what she's able to do and what she's able to pull off because of this luck power. I mean, she is definitely one of the standouts in this movie, as well as Cable himself, played by Josh Brolin, who, funny enough, just played Thanos a couple weeks ago in Avengers Infinity War. And just like in that movie, he's so good in Deadpool 2. And Cable has a lot of really badass scenes. And this is coming from somebody who barely even knows who Cable is. Because, I'm sorry, Internet, but I don't read comics. I'm not saying it's bad if you do. It's just, I don't read comics. I just don't have that time. But, good God, he just brings it to Deadpool in this movie. And even has some legitimately good action scenes with Deadpool. And let's talk about the action. The action, like I said, has been stepped up from the first one. There are so many action sequences in this movie that are so imaginative and at times also so funny. But even from a filmmaking standpoint, the action is so well choreographed. There's even this brief shot in the beginning where there's like this spinning camera thing of Deadpool using swords to kill these guys. Oh my god, the choreography for that must have been out, like, I can't even bring it to words in this. It's just so good in this movie. Then again, this is coming from the director of John Wick, so that tells you a lot. And there are even times in this movie where I could have sworn Ryan Reynolds was doing his own stunts. I can't say that for sure, but if he was, oh my god, Ryan Reynolds just became even more credible than he already was. Because I always love it whenever an actor is willing to do his or her own stunts. Sort of like Angelina Jolie, or Jackie Chan, or Daniel Craig and stuff like that. Like, if Ryan Reynolds actually was doing the stunts in this movie, that just makes him even more awesome as a performer. Oh yeah, and there's even a really cool thing going on with, what's her name? Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I'm not really going to say what it is, and ultimately it doesn't affect the plot, but when I found out something about Negasonic Teenage Warhead, I was like, oh, well, that's actually cool. Oh yeah, and stay for the mid-credits scene. The mid-credits scene is so good. Now, some people have been saying it's the best end-credits scene. I wouldn't really say that. I still say the best end-credits scene out of any movie was in the first Iron Man. You know, when Nick Fury was saying to Tony Stark, hey, I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative. Like, that was that was an amazing post-credits scene. Even though I saw Iron Man way after Avengers had already come out. But just from, you know, how audiences must have felt, I think, like, Iron Man had the greatest post-credits scene of all time. Deadpool 2 isn't as good as that, but that's not saying anything bad about the mid-credits scene in Deadpool 2. Like, it's so good, so funny, and ultimately, I think it's going to make a lot of people happy. It's going to make a lot of people happy. But there's nothing at the very end of the movie, I'll say that. Like, there's, like, once the credits stop rolling, like, there's nothing else. So you can leave after the mid-credits scene, because, I mean, yeah, yeah. There's nothing else at the end. So I can't believe I'm saying this, but Deadpool 2 may or may not be better than the first Deadpool. I have to really think on that, but you know what this means? I'm giving Deadpool 2 a 10 out of 10. How many of these things I keep giving out, but it just so happens that way. These X-Men movies are just so good nowadays. So, here's my question. What do you think of Deadpool 2? Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like. Share the video so we can get the channel circulated. And if you want to see more, don't forget to support my Patreon, by the way. On my Patreon page, click this.